Hello everybody and welcome to our WWE SummerSlam 2022 predictions. You go down there, Big Bertha. As you can see everybody, we are here at the Great British Seaside with the wonderful Great British summer weather as well. And Tom, how are you doing this fine evening?
It is summertime and the living is easy. The weather is amazing. The heat wave, as you can see in the UK, still rolling on. More importantly, eyes turn to Nashville.
Certainly
This
does
Saturday.
indeed.
Want a piece of that? I want Bertha all over me.
As you can see, I am currently the reigning, defending, and the best ever Cultaholic World Champion forever of ever. And I'm here to try and defend these beautiful belts. So, without any further ado, should we crack on with the predictions?
Let's predict the face-off of SummerSlam.
First up for the United States Championship, we have Bobby Lashley, the champion, defending his title against Theory. Tom, who are you going for this one and why?
I'm a bit worried about Theory with his daddy being gone. I don't fancy his chances of becoming the US champion on this night. I think Theory's going to have a busy night, but it doesn't involve winning the belt. Bobby Lashley looks great with the US title, does he not?
He certainly does.
One of those guys that just sort of, the belt suits him as much as he suits the belt.
Yeah.
So I don't see Theory winning that belt back. I see Lashley battering him and starting a rough night for Theory. Who have you got and why?
I think I completely agree with you. I think Theory's going to have a rough night indeed. I reckon we're going to take everything away from Theory, and then he's going to have to build himself back up again credibly. However, we'll get to that in a little bit. Unfortunately, it feels like there's been no fanfare for this one because you've had people like Madcap Moss in the mix as well, and that's kind of taken away from the fact that we're getting a United States title match on this pay-per-view. However, yes, I do think we're going to see Bobby come out on top strong. I think the visual of Bobby Lashley with the United States Championship is just a good visual to have, and I think going forward, we're going to see a little bit more of Lashley. I think he's going to come into his more even just that bit more, you know what
He's
I mean?
going to get a little bit stronger, a little bit more dominant.
I reckon
and
so.
that continues with holding the US title.
Make it stronger, bake it faster, stronger, make it, bake it faster, as Daft Punk once said.
Buy it, fix it, quick, rebuild it.
That's it.
Cantankerous contenders versus cocky commentators. It's Happy Corbin versus Pat McAfee. Who you got and why, Sean?
This one's been pretty intense so far. However, Pat has been on the back foot for the majority of this in terms of like surprise attacks from Happy Corbin. His promo work though, Tom, in this whole thing has been on another level. Getting help from The Rock, he said as well, which is really cool. And I think, you know, it's the biggest party of the summer. I feel like with all the changes that have happened within WWE at the moment, this pay-per-view is going to feel like quite a happy, momentous occasion. And that's why I can see Pat McAfee picking up the big win here. I think he's going to surprise us all. Happy Corbin's the kind of person that, you know, even if he picks up a loss, it doesn't really harm him that much at all, does he? He's such a heat magnet. It's going to build to him just being a massive arsehole somewhere down the road, again anyway. So I'm going for Pat. Who are you going for, Tom?
See, I'm just going to have to back Pat on this one as well. I thought Pat at WrestleMania was a bit of a revelation. That entrance to Seven Nation Army, like the biggest, one of the biggest pops of the night was for Pat. On that night, that and Steve Austin, obviously. But Pat out there getting all the love, and you know what? Performed really well there. I think we're going to see the same again here. You're right. Corbin taking the loss doesn't hurt Corbin.
No.
And I think it just strengthens Pat McAfee as this sort of on and off again competitor.
Yeah.
And it's just a bit of SummerSlam nonsense, knock around fun. And plus, they need to erase the Vince McMahon win from WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So do that with Pat. Just back Pat.
Next up, for the SmackDown Women's Championship, we have Liv Morgan defending her title against Ronda Rousey. Tom, who are you going for in this one?
Now, I think it would be erroneous of Triple H on his first night, first pay-per-view, first premium live event on the books, to take the belt off somebody as organically popular as Liv Morgan. I don't quite know how she's going to do it. I certainly don't think it's going to be a straightforward, clean as a whistle victory. I think there's going to be shenanigans. But I see Liv Morgan picking up the biggest win of her career with either a quick 3 count or something over Ronda Rousey. So I'm reckoning that Morgan's going to leave with the belt, and I think it'll transition to something else for Ronda that doesn't involve the belt.
Yes.
But I'm going with Liv. Who you got and why?
I'm going to go for Liv as well. I'm going to contradict sort of what you said there in terms of...
How dare you.
How dare I indeed. I think it's going to be more of a test for Liv this time. To go up against someone like Ronda Rousey, who's got this whole MMA background. She's very vicious. I think this is also going to be a catalyst for a Ronda heel turn as well, which I'm looking forward to. I really want to see that happen because I think she's got more stock. She's got more stock as a heel, I think. But why not have Liv Morgan pick up a massive babyface win, overcome this huge test, and then to put her over even more, have Ronda do some dastardly things to her afterwards.
Ooh. So Ronda to get her heat back at the end on the biggest party of the summer.
You know it, just like the biggest party of the summer is right here, right now.
Right here, the true heat is here. Logan Paul gets into a WWE ring. He is facing The Miz. Who have you got and why?
Oh, so far, Tom, I've picked some like babyface wins. So I'm gonna say The Miz picks up the win here. We heard Ciampa's absolute amazing promo on Raw. It was phenomenal, basically just bigging up everything about The Miz, you know. 2-time Grand Slam champion, main event WrestleMania against John Cena and beat him too. I think that is very much The Miz that we're going to get. And with Ciampa in the mix as well, he could easily get in there to cause some shenanigans for Logan Paul. I think Logan is going to put in a huge showing. I think he's going to be phenomenal. You know, we saw him at WrestleMania and he did such a good job. But I think we see him there's a dog there. I think we see him basically picking up a loss, maybe going away for a little bit and then coming back. There's the dog, Tom. Who are you going to go for and why? Hello?
Who are you picking to win against The Miz and Logan Paul? That's right,
that's
Logan
good.
Paul. Because Logan Paul, I think this is an establishing time for Logan Paul. And I think that The Miz, his stock has really fallen as...
It's just weed on the bag.
Dog just did a wee on our Iceland's bag. Hello, friend.
Hi, bud.
Logan Paul genuinely seems like the right person to win this one because it's his first night as a singles competitor. It comes with much hype. And very much like with Happy Corbin and Pat McAfee, nothing is lost by The Miz losing to Logan Paul. I don't want to get in the habit of sort of occasional wrestlers beating, your mainstays. But that certainly feels like what's going to happen here once again. Logan Paul picking up a win, solidifying himself, galvanizing himself as part of the WWE roster. Whether people are going to like it or not is another thing. I can't imagine the crowd in Nashville truly getting behind Logan Paul in the way that I think WWE are hoping, but we will see. But Paul to win it.
Next up, we have the Mysterios versus the Judgement Day in a no disqualification match. Tom, who are you going to go for and why?
I think with this one, I think it needs to be the Judgment Day here. I think they've had... whilst they are very much established as sort of the new spooky team, and they booted out Edge, and Rhea Ripley was a force of nature on Monday, just throwing Mysterios around. I wish she'd snap my back. But I think that this is the time the Judgment Day need to pick up a big win. They've picked up a lot of sort of spiritual, metaphorical wins, but they need a literal 3 count over Rey and Dominic Mysterio. No DQ match allows it to be full of plunder and full of shenanigans, and no doubt something rather magnificent will happen to get to that finish. But Judgment Day to pick up the 3. Who have you got and why?
I've gone for the Mysterios, Tom. You make some excellent, very valid points, and I think Judgment Day should pick up the win in this. However, I think Dom's going to get taken out before the match. Rey's going to be like, who's going to be my partner? Who am I going to be able to team with? And that's when we see Edge, the rated R superstar, make his return. Obviously, he didn't turn up at Raw because of travel issues and whatnot, or so we heard. So I think the big return for Edge is going to be here at SummerSlam. And whether that means, Edge and Finn Bálor kind of brawl way out of the arena and we never see them, not again, we'll see them again, but maybe just not tonight because they've got beef. They go all the way out into the arena and whatever. That leaves Rey seemingly on the back foot against Priest, and Rhea's there as well. But then Rey picks up the surprise win. 1, 2, 3. Hello, Edge and Rey Mysterio win. And then we can continue the feud perhaps between Edge and Finn Bálor down the line.
What's annoying is that I remember us talking about this in a news video, and I remember even suggesting Edge and Rey. And I've gone with Judgment Day.
It's all right. I think you make some very valid points. Hey, don't put yourself down. Never.
I'm sticking with it. I've said it now.
Okay.
I've done it now. It's too bleeding late.
It's fine.
What are they going to do? Shoot me? Have to catch me first. I'm like a whippet. Nah, I'm going to go with it. I'm going to go with Judgment Day. You're going to go with Mysterios. There you go. The Raw Women's Championship on the line. It is Bianca Belair defending against Becky Lynch. A repeat of last SummerSlam, maybe?
Yeah!
Who you got and why?
I'm a little bit scared about this one, but I'm going to say Bianca Belair retains her championship. This might be off nothing, Tom. I'm not too sure. But I think, first of all, I think we're going to get almost a repeat of what happened last year. I think they're going to tease that at least anyway. Although we have seen that at WrestleMania too, you know, we saw the tease and everything and this, that and the other. However, I think we're going to get it again. It's going to be an incredible match. They've got a lot to live up to after the WrestleMania match that they had because it was so good. Like, there's a lot of pressure, I think, on them for it to be as good as what that was. However, I think we're going to see Bianca Belair retain and Becky Lynch perhaps kind of start to doubt herself a little bit more, and maybe we see a bit of a babyface turn. Now, she's clawed and clambered her way back into the title picture. She's had to go through all the trials and tribulations. She's had to beat people to finally get where she is, to have this title match here on SummerSlam. And I think we actually see her start to doubt herself after losing here, and then perhaps we see a slow babyface turn. And that's I'm just going for that. It's coming off the top of my head.
Okay. I feel like a lot of our predictions are somewhat similar. Thankfully, there's enough to win me the belt. But Bianca Belair, I feel like has to get the W here.
Yeah.
I think they could have some fun here and sort of run back what they did at SummerSlam last year, but have Belair win in like 20 seconds.
Wow.
Just
really?
Like that big hype entrances for Becky Lynch, over the top entrance for Becky Lynch. Like, the man is back around. This is my night. Here comes Bianca Belair, and all of this, and then quick win for Belair.
Ooh,
sadness from Becky Lynch.
Maybe
we go.
That could be it. Yeah, you might have it on the nail there.
I might have the nail.
You might have the nail in the nail.
Right in the nail.
Right,
there.
the nailed is nailed
we'll see
in.
whether we nailed it. Belair from both.
Seth Rollins, who was meant to face Riddle here tonight at SummerSlam, unfortunately doesn't have an opponent yet, although it seems like someone may take Riddle's place. Tom, we're going to go for a point here, going to go for a prediction. Who does Seth Rollins face at SummerSlam?
So this whole thing is based on the fact that Seth Rollins put out that tweet saying, you know, one day you'll hear my voice. I'm sorry I can't be at SummerSlam. And Triple H quote retweeting going, yep. I hear you. So we're reckoning that Rollins is going to come out and there's going to be a match. I think this is where Triple H has that creative splash on SummerSlam, as was rumoured by WrestleVotes and other places. I think this is where we get an idea of the Triple H era. I think this is where we see the return of Johnny Gargano.
What?
We're doing it.
What?
Gargano rocking up here. There's been a tiny little tease on Twitter from Grayson Waller that he may be back in the fold. And I think if you're gonna start a Triple H era, you bring back somebody that the crowd would love to see again. And Johnny Gargano and Seth Rollins have a banger of a match.
Yeah.
Won by Gargano.
Oh, wow.
What a statement for the new era. I'm going Gargano. Who have you got and why?
I've gone balls to the wall. Like, my balls are on the wall, and they are dragging, all right.
That's HR, another phone call for them.
I'm going to go for Bray Wyatt, The Fiend. Some sort of Bray Wyatt return here. He talks all about everything coming full circle. Full circle would be, so The Fiend's debut was at SummerSlam 2020 against Finn Bálor. And I think Triple H coming in, making a creative splash, I think he's the one to rectify what happened previously between Seth Rollins and The Fiend. And I think we could genuinely get something of consistency and something like a storyline that we'll probably talk about for a long time to come, in a positive sense, rather than the sense that we talk about the previous Seth Rollins and Fiend stuff.
You don't want to talk about Dude Kills in a friggin' Hell in a Cell match again?
Big hammers, get all the big hammers out.
Get all your big hammers out for the lads.
For the lads in the SummerSlam arena. Why not?
The Tag Team Championships of the Undisputed Variety are on the line. The Usos defending against the Street Profits with Jeff Jarrett as special guest. Double R, double E, double F, double F, double E, double E. Who you got and WWWHWY?
I'll tell you what I want, Tom. I want the smoke.
Oh.
I'm going for the Street Profits to pick up the win. And I think it's about time. I think with everything that's been going on, I think it's about time. On the weekly shows as well, Usos have been picking up wins as well, and I think it's kind of lending itself to the Street Profits picking up the win. I think it's their time.
Yeah?
I really do think it's their time. Another part of me thinks, because you know the egos of the Usos, you know the ego of Jeff Jarrett, I can see that clashing at some point. Maybe one of them getting a super kick on Jarrett that takes him out, and then when he comes back, he's got guitar in hand, smash, straight over the head, and that leads to the Profits picking up the win. Who are you going to go for, Tom?
See, I can't fathom Jeff Jarrett being a babyface referee. Like, lots of factors in this. I know they wouldn't book to accommodate it. But Jeff Jarrett's a heel in Ric Flair's last match the following night.
Yeah.
And Triple H has a great relationship with Ric Flair. So I don't know why you would do anything that might potentially, squander any ideas there. I don't know. I think Jeff is is far more versatile performer as a heel.
Yeah.
So I think him with heelish shenanigans helping the Usos win is probably the way to go. I think the Usos to retain the titles, and I think this is where we finally see. I know how much you want the smoke.
I do want the smoke.
Keen for the smoke, but I think that this is probably where the smoke dissipates because I think this is where we finally see the Street Profits go their separate ways.
No.
Yeah, I think Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford are going to be saying farewell post SummerSlam.
But they said on the thing that they don't want to do that so soon. No, Tom, no.
Pour out one red cup for the Street Profits.
And finally, a big beefy battle between two big beefy boys. It's premium beef, it's Wagyu beef, everyone. It's Roman Reigns defending the Uwu Championship against Brock Lesnar in a last man standing match. Tom, who are you going to go for in this epic clash of beef burgers?
You know it's a beefy clash when a vegan is telling you it's going to be beefy. They're going to rip each other to shreds. This is going to be, it's going to be pulled pork, if anything. I reckon, and if this is true, and this is going to be our first, our return rather to TV 14. Watch these two just tear the ring to shreds, rip the staging apart. Just go wild in there. But I think it's going to be Roman Reigns appearing from the wreckage as the undisputed champion. I don't think there's any designs on Brock Lesnar doing much more beyond this in case of emergency break glass run. But I think that all the more reason to establish Roman Reigns as the guy to head to Clash at the Castle in September and then defend that belt in the main event in Cardiff. So I'm going for Roman. Who you got and why?
It's got to be Roman. It's got to be Roman, right? Obviously, with all the stuff that happened recently on SmackDown as well, obviously, seemingly Brock hearing that Vince is gone and then Brock being like, well, if Vince is gone, then I'm gone too. I don't see too much of a future for Brock Lesnar in WWE after this match. So I think Roman Reigns is going to pick up the win. As you said, it's going to be a barn burner. I think we're going to get away from just the usual spam finisher over and over again. I think we are going to get something that's a little bit more brutal. Maybe even some blood gets involved as well. The ring mat gets ripped up. All sorts of shenanigans.
It's not a party unless there's blood.
Yeah, there you go. I think there's grander things for Roman's when he loses the championship down the line. I do honestly think that he's going to be Cody Rhodes. So I am going for Roman Reigns just like you, Tom. But that is our WWE SummerSlam 2022 predictions. Thank you so much for joining us. And please join us over the weekend too. We've got WTF with Ross Twiddell. We've got What Happened At with Jack the Jobber. And oh my God, whoa, no.
These are my predictions now.